you crazy enough to drink that yet? You sure? Are you positive? Are you really positive?
I am Doomsvince. This is day 177 of Spawn Year.
In the letters pages this issue, instead of answering letters, McFarlane apologizes for how late this book has been coming out. This is only his third issue, and apparently he's already insanely behind schedule. He doesn't give excuses and sounds almost embarrassed at his own lack of professionalism, saying that Bendis always had his scripts done in a timely fashion, and Alex Maleev had the art for this issue finished before McFarlane was ready to put his text in, which would seem to confirm he really does give his artists a very loose framework for what he wants in his panels, as I always suspected. His letter reads a little self-deprecating. Clearly he was making too much work for himself and he was stretched too thin. I still have no idea why he felt he had to be the one to write this, but I can completely relate. My tendency to cover my calendar with unnecessary self-imposed projects played a part in writing myself a one-way ticket to Doomsvince's graveyard. It makes me wonder how Todd himself would have fared in Spawn Year. But I'd never wish this experience on anybody, no matter what the reading material was. Although I must admit, all this yo-yoing between fantastic and mediocre is enough to drive a man to drink. This issue is certainly more readable and deliberately plotted than the last, getting back to business and focusing on this videotape mystery. But consistency is key, and McFarlane must have dropped his key ring behind the couch or something. I didn't like Twitch's juvenile hissy fit last issue, but besides Sam's token, I hope Twitch gets over this mood at the beginning of the issue, Twitch's emotional breakdown is all but missing entirely. So far, I think the story would be better without that at all, given McFarlane had to move away from it to get any plot progression going, and now that we know more about the Stalker's motive in picking Sam, that seems to be where the focal point of this should be. The FBI shows up and they've learned that this guy is struck before with the same MO. He finds cops who seem to have no life outside of work, and he becomes those cops' new life, their obsession. There's a potential to rope Twitch into that idea, a man who lost his family, then his girlfriend, and is arguably more directionless than Sam is now, paralleling their lonely situations and returning to Bendis' early notion that perhaps Sam and Twitch are really each other's family ultimately, and that's really the natural direction for this to go in. I hope McFarlane picks up on that. Sam is beginning a new potential romance with a bartender who gets kidnapped by the videotape stalker at the end. Sam is finding himself in the same boat Twitch has been in, getting too close to people and they're becoming a liability because of the job. Sam has always been jealous of Twitch's family life, and the stalker seems to be judging him for the way he lives his, yet McFarlane hints here that for a man devoted to justice, which requires selflessness, perhaps Sam had the right idea all along. The stalker is messing with Sam, leading him and the feds to the green room where he shot the videos with an anonymous phone call, only to take surveillance of them and send Sam yet another tape to prove he has resources, maybe even a mole within the department, and that he's not to be underestimated. Twitch, though not a whiny brat right now, is still a little unrealistically contrary. He thinks Sam's jumping the gun and suspecting conspiracy when all the evidence lines up. The feds and the media found out about that case well before they should have. The stalker knows too much about Sam, and 2 of 3 packages got to the precinct outside of the postal system. I don't get Twitch at all in this story. I also hope they have a solid understanding of the bad guy's motivations and actions by the end of this arc. He kidnaps a woman and her little girl, calls all the women he's abducted his collection, and he's dressed the girl up as the doll she had with her. Right now, this all seems disturbing for the sake of being disturbing, and I get enough of that with all the cruel and unusual ordeals I have to put up with from Doomsvince. Signed, Captain Logan.